Hi, this is Matt Jackson and Kelly Stover here with the first of 5 Excel videos to show you some of the capabilities of Excel you might be expected to use on your first co-ops. We will start by explaining some of the basics of Excel and eventually get into some of the more advanced functions. The first thing you should be aware of is that you can add additional worksheets or tabs by clicking on the paper with the sunburst icon at the bottom of the spreadsheet. In our example data file, you can see we have 2 tabs in our workbook that contain related but different information. Other things that you should be aware of is that you can change the width of each cell. You can do this by clicking on the edge of the cell and dragging the edge to the desired width. In some cases, you may want to let Excel adjust this for you. An example of this can be seen on sheet 2 in column C, where we have both written our names. As you can see, our names are too long and exceed the current cell width. However, if we double click on the cell edge, it automatically adjusts the cell width for us. Some other things you might want to do when the text exceeds the allotted cell width could be to use wrap text or merge cells together. Wrap text will change the height of cells so that all of the text fits into a single cell. This can be done by highlighting the cell with text and clicking the Wrap Text button at the top of the page. A similar process can be used to merge cells by highlighting the adjacent cells and clicking the Merge Cell button. It merges 2 smaller cells into 1 larger cell that will contain all of the text. Switching over to sheet 1, some of the basic things to be aware of when sorting large amounts of data are freeze panes, hotkeys, and the filter and sort functions. There are over 58,000 rows contained in sheet 1, which can make things like highlighting all the data very difficult. One shortcut to highlighting the data in the entire column is to click on the first cell of the desired data range and hold down the Control-Shift-Down arrow. As you can see, this highlights the entire column of data very quickly. Freeze panes are also a good feature when dealing with large amounts of data. They're a feature where you can keep the top of the headers at the top of the spreadsheet while you scroll through all the data. In order to create a freeze pane, click on the View tab at the top of the spreadsheet and then click Freeze Panes in the toolbar. You are presented with the option to either freeze the top row or the first column. In this case, we would like to freeze the top row, so we click on that option. And scrolling through our data, we see that the title of each column doesn't disappear, which makes it easier to know what data is in which column. To unfreeze the top row, we simply return to the Freeze Pane menu and select Unfreeze Pane. Lastly, when dealing with a data file this big, it may be helpful to use the filter and sort functions to better organize the data. These functions can be found either under the Home or Data tabs at the top of the Excel file. The purpose of the sort function is to simply put things in order. If we switch over to Spreadsheet 2 and highlight both the A and B columns and click Sort A to Z, you see that our data is now ordered from the least expensive machine all the way up to the most expensive machine. If we want to limit the amount of machines that we are looking at, we can use the filter function. Again, we highlight both the A and B columns and click on the filter button. This creates drop-down arrows at the top of each column. If we click on that arrow, we get a list of all the unique values that are in that column. If we only want to look at machines 1 and 2, we simply uncheck Select All and select only Machine 1 and Machine 2. As you can see, this reduces the amount of data in the spreadsheet to only the data for those 2 machines. As you can imagine, the filter function will be much more useful for limiting the data in Spreadsheet 1 than it is here, but now at least you have a general idea of how this function works. This completes the Excel Basics video.